Everybody in, so it's been really cool to get to meet everybody. So I hope you guys have enjoyed being here. I have the privilege and honor to introduce my manager, Mr. Mark Passy. And when Jay and the steering committee, the Michelles, Edna, et cetera, came and with this idea, wasn't even a consideration for Mark. He's like, yeah, what do you need? How much? Let's do it. So, as was mentioned earlier, I think he deserves a big round of applause for being able to easily spot the right thing and just go. So thank you for that, Mark. And now over to you.
Excellent. Okay, can you guys hear me? All right. That was seriously about as long as it took me to make that decision. This is the perfect thing for this organization to do. And it's not like this was given to you all or anything like that. You asked and got, and you owned this, right? So I don't want empowerment to think that SNTO came down from above and granted you an offsite. That's not what this is at all. It was a team of people that had an idea that they executed on very well. I probably just broke that light there. I just want to have rounds of applause here for our steering committee, Michelle Fleury, Michelle Dell, Edna Conway, and Michelle Benedict. They did an excellent job guiding kind of the content and purpose, and their leadership is evident in everything that we did here or saw here. I didn't get to see the first day, but I heard it was excellent. So if it's as good as today was, then we're good. It's going downhill from here, guys. All right, the planning committee. Holy cow, Jay Kohler is already standing, but Jay's excellent. Absolutely. Standing applause for Jay. That is not unlike Brian to jump into someone's applause. But Jay is really passionate about people. She came to me a year and a half ago, 2 years almost?
Almost 2 years. October.
Almost 2 years with, hey, Mark, we should be doing something about the way we address talent in this organization. And it took me probably a half a second longer than it did to approve this conference to say, Jay, absolutely, you should come do that. And she took a huge risk. So we talked about some of these risks that Michelle and Edna and others have taken. Jay took a huge risk, and it is paying off in spades. You're doing an excellent job. Thank you for what you do for this organization. But I can't say that without Kathy, who helps guide our communications and makes everything look and feel so professional. Kathy, where are you at? Please tell me you didn't walk out of the room for that. Kathleen Wilson is amazing. As soon as she walks in this room, even if I'm talking, just stand up and applaud for her, okay? All right. And Brian, Brian. Who's the kind of guy who can jump up and be an MC on the spot. Brian is always the man. There's no doubt about that. And Marie, I heard that the dinners were excellent. So you did the Preston night, right? Country Club? So, that was the nice dinner and that was the party dinner. Is that how that worked out? Okay. And then logistics. Caroline Chan and Pratik have both joined the operations team recently. Thank you so much. Logistics have gone very well. And we want to recognize that you guys, that is the magical hand behind the scenes. And you guys have done an excellent job. Hey! Kathleen, thank you so much for making this work. It was awesome. Okay? All right. I have a very serious topic that I want to end the meeting with here. I want to talk about washing machines, buttercups, and stupid fish. Does this not make sense? I mean, it's totally in the theme. All right. Washing machines, buttercups, and stupid fish. All right. This is my man, Max, okay? Oh, crap. I saw a picture of him, I'm already crying. So, I have the pleasure of having my wife here, Sarah Passy, who is the anchor of my life and more than my better half. And she helps manage the home life. We have 4 kids. Max is my 3rd son. And then my daughter, Brooke, is right next to her. When dad gets boring, she's got coloring. So she's all good there. But managing 4 kids, she has an important role as a youth minister in our church. And then I was also in graduate school studying to be a marriage and family therapist. 20 years, you already have a PhD if you can live with me, right? Dang it, I knew if I gave her a moment, she's gonna do it. Okay, this is Maxwell. Maxwell's 3 here, and he was diagnosed with autism. This is him as baby Einstein for Halloween. Because he didn't want to wear a mask, it was too much, and so Sarah had the super creative idea to draw a little eyeliner on his cheek and make his hair a different color, get him a lab coat from eBay, and he looks awesome. So this is Max at age 3, he's now 10. We had the opportunity to go to Mexico City this last December, and took the whole family there. Dang, I'm gonna cry. I can't do that. It's too vulnerable. All right. We got a chance to take all the family down there and spend a week, and I took some pictures of some of the things that I saw. I was able to see these awesome buildings. We were on a river boat, kind of they have guys come out there and kind of pull you through like a Venice kind of thing, except it's Mexico City, so it's not Venice. Mariachi bands talking to you, and this is a downtown art museum. These are incredible pictures. Not great pictures, but incredible sights. Sorry, I don't take good pictures. We got to see the pyramids of Tenochtitlan, yeah, whatever. And then markets, these markets with all these bright colors and amazing things. Those are some of the pictures that I took. Now, we got to a market like this, and Max got hold of the camera. And we had no idea what he was doing, but it kept him happy. We were good. These are some of the pictures that Max took of that market. And he really zooms in. I had the pleasure of being with Caroline Shannon this whole week. She's in one of my leadership groups up in Boston in that pipeline that we're at. She's been trained in speech pathology, specializing in kids with autism. And I was telling her that I was going to do this talk and I was going to kind of focus in. It was really odd to me that my son took such different perspective pictures from me. And she said, kids with autism, that's really kind of what they see is just that much, because the detail is what they focus on, and more than that becomes overwhelming. And so I started going through some of the pictures that are on our camera, and I think, wow, I saw this stuffed wolf, and my son saw that. I saw a whole booth full of dolls, and my son zoomed in on one. I saw a stairwell, and he saw a footprint. My daughter, Brooke, is Brooke. To my son, she's this, right? Toyota, one of his favorite brands, that's what he sees. So my question is, who are the people that help you see things differently? Seeing things differently is actually a skill, and it's something we want to bring to what we do. We went to all these great places in Mexico City, and the one thing my son wanted to do was go to Home Depot to look at washing machines. And I don't know if you can see him in there, but that's his head digging into a washing machine so he can take a picture of the inside of that washing machine without an agitator. Does it have an agitator? Does it not have an agitator? Does it have this cycle or not that cycle? He watches YouTube videos of washing machines. He's obsessed with washing machines. But that's what he wanted to do. We would never have done something like that if he wasn't in our family, forcing us to think about things differently. And so Max is one of those people who helps me see things differently. So washing machines, who are the people around you that make you look at things from a different perspective? Okay? That's why washing machines. Now, Max is now obsessed with elevators. So we went to Washington, D.C. for Easter weekend, and I took Brooke to the cherry blossoms. We walked downtown a little bit. Max wanted to go see hotels and the elevators and freight elevators and man-powered elevators. Did you know that's what this is? Is a man-powered elevator? Okay. So spent a lot of time with Max in elevators, and my challenge to you is going to Terminal C. Any of you who are flying out this afternoon or will fly in the future, go into Terminal C in RDU. Does anybody know anything about the elevators there? There's these, well, see, I'm going to ruin the challenge, but there's these glass elevators where you can see all the inner workings. A couple of them are hydraulic elevators, which are a lot more rare because they can only go so far. You have to have a huge pipe that goes down to the ground, and you can see the gears that open and close the doors. And now I'm running around taking videos of elevators wherever I go for my son because he's making me look at elevators differently. So again, who are the people around you that make you look at things differently? All right. You guys all got a chance to do instinctive drive. You may or may not be versed in this now, but this is a team chart from 2008, where we just first got introduced to instinctive drive. Gwen Parks, who you all got to hear from, has been, she introduced this to us. And I remember going into this meeting with my teammates. I had been an information security, host security project manager for about 2-3 years. I felt stuck. I felt like I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't communicate with people. They weren't listening to me, or they just weren't keeping their eye on the strategic of what I thought was the right thing to do. And we got into this meeting, and she started explaining to us the differences in our drives. Do you guys notice anything different in this group? There's this guy here who's all yellow with a lot of high verifiers who need data to be convinced with things. And I realized I saw things differently than everybody else. I thought that was a weakness. I thought, oh crap, I'm never gonna make it in this job because I don't speak in details, I speak in big pictures. I'm about the promise of the idea, not the details of how to get there. I'm never gonna make it against the likes of Richard Puckett and Caroline Thrasher, and I won't mention any of the names. I felt like I was in a distinct disadvantage. And then the team started calling me Buttercup, right? And that was harsh. I mean, like, oh, crap, now I'm Buttercup. I'm never gonna make it here. And my team can still call me Buttercup every once in a while, especially when I go off the handle.
Or other things.
So that was that moment when I realized maybe I see things differently, and I didn't think of it as a strength until my manager at the time, I'm gonna give some credit to Nazrin Rezai, who, don't know if she saw this as an opportunity for me or just needed someone who could do math, but she said, hey, Mark, do you know anything about finance? I have a bachelor's degree in finance. I don't use it, but it's like, all right, you're my biz ops manager. So that was 2008, and I would say my career has taken a different trajectory since then. I choose to believe that Nazrin saw something different in me and then put me in a place that would help me accentuate my strengths and become more successful. Because I was never going to be a good host security PM. I was never going to make it there. But learning the finance and the strategy and those elements really kind of made a difference in my career. She gave me a great opportunity. And so for Buttercups, I'm going to ask you, what is it about you that brings a different perspective to the world? And think about that. All right. We still got to move on. We got one more big topic here. That's me as a kid. Can anybody pick which one is me? I have an identical twin brother. So there's two thoughts here. One is my mother, having twins, raised us with a very law of Moses mentality. Everything had to be fair. If I had a jacket, mine would be red and my brother would have the exact same jacket that's in blue. That's what you see here. We both had the same dumb hat. But I grew up with a person who looks exactly like me, that my mom wanted to treat exactly fair, but I would say my brother and I are still very different. We have very different perspectives on the world. But there's an innate sense of fairness that my mother instilled in me. And when I think of inclusion and collaboration, I think of equal opportunity as table stakes. We as a company need to do better in that. That's table stakes. We don't even have to discuss that. But to get to the end goal, we got to talk about the different perspectives that we're employing in our teams. And so I showed this to show that it's fairness, and you move beyond that because that has to happen no matter what. But Francine, in this new kind of idea of what makes the best teams, highlighted in an article the top 3 things that differentiate the best teams. And the first is to focus on the individual strengths of each team member. Know what is special and unique about each of them, right? And so I kind of think back to my Buttercup days, and Nazrin kind of guided me into a different position, but it's on each of us as team members, or family members, or kids in school, or just friends that we hang out with, to really think about what makes the person you're with special and unique. It is not up to your manager to do this, it's up to each of us to do this. And that brings me to stupid fish. What is this fish, Brian?
It's that a sand dab?
That is a sand dab. So anybody who went to Monterey, what did we think of sand dabs?
Stupid fish.
They're just stupid fish, just sitting there doing nothing. So Latrell was there, Kathy was there, Jay. So we sat there, we'd look out there on the pier, and we'd see these dumb fish just sitting there. Stupid fish. All right, sand dabs, stupid fish. Now, Albert Einstein had a different idea. Everyone's a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. So when you think about other people, the perspectives and the strengths that they bring, I think there's a lot of easy, maybe cathartic conversation around how stupid other teams are or other people are, and we can put ourselves in an us versus them. And I think the more enlightened approach is to think about what was it that they brought to the table that was different and find value in that first before you start to knock it down. And that's really hard to do as a security-minded group, because security-minded people see all the mistakes of every other group in the company. You're paid to find them, yet you still have to find value in those people. So I encourage us to not just think of every person as a stupid fish, but to actually see what's smart about them. So, are you focusing on your teammates, maybe the people you're collaborating with? What are their unique strengths? So I leave you with those three thoughts and hopefully a video here. Washing machines, buttercups, and all right, we're gonna give this a shot. So I have to thank my wife for finding that for me because she's awesome. But so don't be a middle C, right? That entire piano was tuned to the note middle C. Be different. Recognize the strengths you have in yourself and then build on them. That's what Cisco is encouraging you to do now. Recognize the strengths that you have, you can find in others, and then cherish them for that. Work with them for that. Don't judge them for those. And that's what's going to make us the best team. I thank you all very much for investing time to come here, to build your own network, to build your own connections, and also build your own strengths. You are doing a service for Cisco by investing that time. Thank you very much to everybody who put this on. I think we can call this a wrap. We're done with our conference, the first annual STO Empowered Women's Conference, okay?